Christmas. This is going to be my last live for this year. So Merry Happy Everything. Happy New Year. Merry, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. And what I really want to do today is something that I do at the end of every year for myself. It's something that we direct our singers to do at the end of every year. And it is a really powerful exercise for big results going into next year, going into 2025. And so as we come to the end of the year, I tend to feel reflective. I like to see the things that I did that I can celebrate, the gaps that I bridged, the things that I went through, the wins that I had, the places where I still want to grow. And this gives me a really great sort of bird's eye view of what I want to do moving into 2025, because I can see very clearly what happened in 2024 with respect to my singing, my career, my family, whatever it is that you are working on. So for us, we're going to do this powerful exercise with respect to your singing career to help you move powerfully into 2025. So if you're watching this live, go grab a journal, go grab a, something to write with, could be your computer, some, pen and paper. If you're watching this in the replay, do the same. Because here's the thing. You've got this one precious life, this time on this planet, and you only have so much time on this planet. And so how are you spending it, right? Like, this is a question every time I complete a year in review for myself. It's so important to look back, celebrate your wins, acknowledge your growth, extract the lessons, and set the right targets for your singing for the upcoming year. But this isn't an ordinary year coming up. We are 5 years in to the 2020s, right? And I don't know about you, but this last year at times kind of felt like a doozy. There were incredible things. There were hard things. There were things that my 2010 self would completely lose her mind over. And there's a quote that I like, which I'm going to share with you, which is that people overestimate what can be done in a month, and they underestimate what can be done in a year. So today you'll discover just how true this statement really is. So in honor of this year, 2024, coming to an end and bringing some new energy, some new intention to 2025, I'm going to be sharing with you right now this special year in review exercise. So it's a 3-part exercise that uses the wisdom, the untapped often wisdom of your last year to make the next year your best one ever. And I have tweaked it a little bit so that you can focus on those things that are related to your singing career, and your artistic journey. So each section is short and it's easy to execute. You can complete them all in one sitting, or you can take your time doing one per day. So think of these exercises as like a yearly planning tool. So you've got a year full of possibilities in your singing, and you've got a year full of possibilities in your singing career and journey ahead of you coming up. And so this year in review that I'm going to walk you through on this live is going to help you make the most of it. So here is a link that I'm going to put in the chat to the year in review exercise. Okay. So let me do this. And I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Give me un momento. Okay. And sorry, I want to make sure that I'm copying the full thing. Sorry, guys, bear with me for a second. Okay. Here we go. Into the chat in both places, because we are online in Facebook and we're online on YouTube. Year in review PDF. Okay, there we go. So this is what you can download, and you can print it out if you want to work on that. Let me put this in Facebook. Sorry, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, I'm not ignoring you. Here you go. Okay. So that is what you can download and walk through if you want just, to do this on your own time and not right now with me. But I suggest you do it with me. Okay. So let's dive in. Grab a journal, grab your pen, follow the prompts below. So the first section that you'll see if you're looking at the PDF or if I'm just walking you through it live, this is what you're proud of. So that's like the first thing, right? Over the past year, what have you done that you are proud of in your singing life? So thinking of things like that, I learned a new role if I'm an opera singer. I recorded 3 songs for the first time and released them. I found my breath support and my mix. I came back to my training after years and got some amazing breakthroughs, right? What have you done that you're proud of in your singing life? What are the obstacles that you have overcome in your singing journey? Maybe you invested in a producer or in training or something, and you had to get super resourceful. That was an obstacle, a financial obstacle. What are you proud of? Did you overcome that? Were you scared to perform, and did you put yourself out there anyway? Did you overcome that? Then what are some of the results that you have created in your singing career in 2024? And even though this year might have felt different or hard or difficult in ways, you might have had a lot of circumstance around this year. Maybe you lost a job, maybe you lost a family member, maybe there were other things that distracted you. You got married, you had a baby, whatever. But despite that, even though this might have been a difficult or different year, see what you can come up with. Think about any performances, any auditions, recordings, opportunities that you've created or that you've taken advantage of, and list them out. So what are those results? So you could pull out old calendars, old journals, planners. You could look at old emails, photos to jog your memory, right? This may take some time, but it's totally worth it because you really want to get a clear picture of what did I create? What were the results that I got? Even the small things are really, really important to recognize because most of us are often, focused just on the hard stuff, the things that we didn't get, the things that didn't happen, the things that aren't working, right? So this section 1, what are you proud of, is really important. What have you done that you're proud of in your singing life? What are the obstacles you've overcome? And what are the results some of the results you've created? So do that, okay? Now, once you've made it through that section, then we're going to move into what was most important and why. So I'm walking you through all this and I'm going kind of quickly because I do not expect you to, do all this right now. Like this is, take 30 minutes of me time with your favorite beverage, right? Go make a cup of coffee or a hot cocoa, right? Put on your fuzzy slippers, take some me time and journal this and do this. But I'm walking you through, giving you ideas of what each section is about so that you have that knowledge as you do it. Okay, second section. Still what you're proud of. Also, what was most important and why? So once you've made that list of over the past year, the things you're proud of, the obstacles, the results, go back over that list and then answer these questions. Out of everything you listed, what was most important? Circle whatever jumps out to you and then write down why. Why were those things the most important? Because when you know the things that have made the biggest difference in your singing, in the artistic career you're building, then you'll be able to make wiser decisions, much more informed decisions as you plan the next year about what you want to put your time and your money and your effort into in this endeavor, okay? So now we're moving into section 2. So first section is what you're proud of, what was important, wins and results, and why. Section 2 is your learnings. So what are the most important things that you have learned over the past year with respect to your singing, with respect to your singing career, with respect to your artistic journey? So this might be things like, I finally understand my breath support. I came to one of Arden's workshops and I really understand where my mindset is sabotaging me. It could be, I learned that I don't like to take risks, but when I do, I'm really proud of myself. It could be that I actually can get paid to sing. And so I am going to step into more paid opportunities, right? What are the things that you have learned? The skill set things that have been important and the mindset things that have been important for you. And so to that end, what of that wisdom has become crystal clear to you? What wisdom has become crystal clear to you? So that could be something like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what if and not fighting for my gift and my talent. I don't want to, like, that could be wisdom to you, that if I don't take action to get off the bench and really do this in a real way, that I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. That's wisdom. Yeah. So what wisdom has become clear to you, crystal clear to you? And then what mistakes did you make and what did you learn from them? So that might have been, I wasted time not going after what I really wanted because I was scared, and I lost an entire year when I could have been performing and auditioning and recording, right? What mistakes did I make? I hired a producer and I went for the cheaper option because I was penny wise and pound foolish, and I got what I paid for, and I don't like any of those recordings, and I wasted $500 when I could have just spent $1,000 and got what I really wanted. Instead, now I have to spend $1,000 to get what I really want, but I already spent $500, and so now I'm spending $1,500, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to go for the thing I know I want, and I'm not going to be in scarcity mindset, right? That could be a mistake you made that you learned from. I'm just throwing out examples here, right? So think on that. Maybe I didn't say no to a collaboration that didn't really feel so good to me, and I got myself in a situation. Not going to do that again. What did I learn from that? I learned from that I need to listen to my intuition when it's telling me that these are not my people. These are not my collaborators, and that no is a complete sentence, right? So these are very important, and it's not always fun or comfortable necessarily to acknowledge these things, but I'm inviting you to look at that idea of the mistakes that you made and what you learned from them from utmost compassion, self-compassion, to know that the gift is in the challenge. Because if you can identify what you did, the mistake, and what you learned from it, I guarantee you, you're not going to make that mistake again in 2025, and you're going to save time, you're going to save money, you're going to save heartache, all those things. Okay, so think it through and write them all down, big and small. Okay, now the next thing is, same question here. What was most important and why? So look at the list you just created and ask the same three questions. What lessons were the biggest game changers for you? What were the things that you, oh yes, like that, got that now, right? What lessons were the biggest game changers, and why? Why do these matter to you? What do you really want to remember as you move into this brand new year of 2025? So guys, this section is crucial. Write it down. Bring your compassion and your awareness to it so you avoid making the same mistakes again. Because the thing that I don't want is, I don't want you to look back at the end of 2025 and be in the exact same place or worse than you were right now, okay? Now, we're going to move into the second part of the year in review, which is all about releasing your past. So this is about letting go of the things that drag you down. This is about being able to plan your vision for 2025 with clarity, with purpose. And trust me, you will feel so much better. You will feel like you have a clear path. You will feel freer and lighter when you're done, because you know what you need. You know what's going to help you. You know what got you where you are. You know what mistakes you're going to avoid. So grab your journal, and when you get to the section, follow the prompts. Okay. So first thing is, what are you willing to let go of? So there's three separate parts under this section, okay? And you're going to create three separate lists with it. And it's going to take a minute. It might take a little time for you to get clarity on this, but that's why we're doing it, and it is so worth it, okay? So first section about what you're willing to let go of. projects and goals, old projects and old goals. Are there any projects that you keep meaning to do that you have not made time for? Think about it. With respect to your singing and your singing career, are there any projects that you really have kept saying, oh, I really need to do that, but you haven't made time for it? Just write them down, list them down. And then further to that, do you have any shoulds in here? Any I should do this type of targets and goals that you keep putting off? I should rearrange my hard drive so that all my songs are in one place. I should practice every day. I should get back to my training. I should start doing open mics, right? Write them all down. What are the should goals that you keep putting off? Write them down. And then, are there any expectations from people in your world, loved ones, family, partners, collaborators, or even yourself that just aren't true anymore? They're just not on your heart anymore. There could be an expectation that you've been holding, and it's just been that way for so long because it was an expectation from your parents or an expectation from your spouse that maybe you aligned with at one point. It's just not true anymore for you. Write them down. So all of these things, old expectations, old projects, old goals, I say that they're like leftovers in your fridge. It's like you bought the food at Trader Joe's and it looked good at the time and you meant to eat it, but now it's way past its expiration date. You never ate it and it's just taking up space in your fridge. So think of this as like cleaning out the mental fridge, right? This is your opportunity to clean out the mental fridge so that you can blaze into 2025 without any of those old shoulds taking up room, cluttering your mind, cluttering your heart from the space that really gets to be taken up by what is important to you and what is where you want to put your time and energy. Okay. Well, now that brings us to the section on any upsets, anger, resentments. Are there any resentments, any upsets with respect to your singing career that you have been hanging on to? Could be a parent or a spouse who doesn't think that it's possible or realistic or that you're good enough or you're wasting your time going after your music, your singing, your voice. Could be that. Could be the thing you auditioned for that you wanted so bad that you got into the final callbacks of and you didn't get it and you're angry about it. Any upset, you're upset. You still haven't put that to bed. Could be the record that you made and released and spent a lot of time, energy, money on it and released it and it like went nowhere. You got, 1,000 plays. That upset, right? So these are examples. Are there any upsets, resentments that you've been hanging on to from 2024? Or similar to that, do you have any old baggage that you are ready to release? All the stinking thing and they're not good enough that you maybe been hanging on to for maybe even longer than 2024. And then further to that, is there anybody that you need to forgive, including yourself? Could be the band members that you got in a fight with and you stormed off. Could be, like I said, the spouse who doesn't believe in you or who doesn't think it's worth your time to follow your voice and your dream, right? So be honest with yourself. Like really get clear. Use this time to journal. These are the things that when we clear out the cobwebs, when we clear out the clutter, now we have space to really be powerful about what we are going to get into in 2025. So even if you don't know who you want to forgive or what you want to let go of in this moment, just, do what I call a brain dump. Just start writing and it will all become clear to you. And as long as you're willing, you'll figure out a way to let go of it. And naming that stuff and acknowledging that stuff, it's the first step towards healing that, number one, and also towards creating that higher vibration that allows you to move powerfully into what you do want. And so the last part of this, of releasing the stuff from 2024, is limiting beliefs and old stories that do not serve you anymore. So ask yourself, what limiting beliefs have you been carrying for the past year when it comes to your singing, your artistic journey, your singing career? Those could be limiting beliefs that have to do with your technique or your voice, for example, could be high notes are hard. Well, that's a limiting belief. Does everyone think they're hard? No. Does Arden think they're hard? No, right? That's just a belief that you've picked up because it's an experience that you've had in the past. But if you continue to take your past into your present, then guess what? Tomorrow's going to look exactly like yesterday. So those high notes will continue to be hard because you have decided that they are. So that's just a little example, right? What's another limiting belief? Could be it's impossible to make a living as a full-time singer. Limiting belief, right? So get clear. What are yours? And what have you been carrying this past year? Could be, I don't have enough time to work on my music. Could be, I don't have enough money to invest in training. Limiting belief, limiting belief. And you know how I know this? Because I have watched singers who have major circumstance around their time, circumstance around their finances, get so creative and resourceful and change their stars because of it. So limiting belief. You guys, you will create what you believe. If you believe you don't have enough time and you can't create time for whatever training, if you believe you don't have enough money, you won't, and you don't, and you won't get creative and you won't get resourceful and you'll stay where you are. And I say that not to be mean, but because I have literally seen singers change their stars when they have changed their belief, and you can too. So what are these limiting beliefs that you've been carrying around for the past year? Write them down. What excuses? What excuses have you been attaching to that are holding you back from singing your best, from making an impact, from being able to get those elite opportunities and be at the level you want with your voice and your singing career? What are your excuses? Similarly, excuses are versions of limiting beliefs. Excuses could be, well, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I tried before and I wasn't good enough, so I'm not going to be good enough now. Excuse, right? And you guys, like, trust me, it's the purpose of this is not a blame game. This is not a shame game. There is no make wrong here. It is just to start to shine the light so we can start clearing this stuff out, okay? So what crappy old stories are you telling yourself? And what crappy old stories are you telling yourself about all of this stuff, which no longer serve you? So maybe you've been telling yourself that you're too old, right? That's an excuse. And I'm just too old to follow my dream. Maybe you have a story in your head, like, especially if you're a songwriter and recording artist, that everybody's already done this, all the songs, it's all been said, it's all been done before. Well, maybe it's just time to put that crappy story that you're not good enough or you're not capable enough to bed once and for all. That's a story. So remember, you are so much more powerful and capable than you give yourself credit for. So this is your opportunity to weed through the muck and start to clear out and let go of all these compromising negative thoughts that just shrink your energy, keep you playing small, to let go of the limiting beliefs that hold you back from getting where you want to go in your singing. So do this work now so that these things do not continue to control you in 2025. And so now the next phase of this is looking at what is most important to you to let go of and why. And so once you're done, you want to go back over each section and answer these 4 questions. What are the most important things for me to let go of? Circle them. Literally circle them. And why is it absolutely a must that you let these things go? Why is it vital to your success in 2025 to let these things go? And what have these things cost you? These goals, these resentments, these fears, these limiting beliefs, what has hanging on to them over the last year, 5 years, 10 years, what has that cost you? Write it down. Get clear. It's not always comfortable to look at these things, guys, but everything you want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. And those who get what they want are willing to do that. Are there experiences, are there achievements that you haven't fully realized or experienced as a result of holding on to all these fears, limiting beliefs, things like that, resentments? write it down. What has it cost you? What have you not gotten to do or have or be or experience? So write it all down. Write as much as you want. Remember, you guys, purpose fuels persistence. When you're connected with your purpose, you will be way more persistent to creating what you want and being who you get to be in 2025. So once you have done all of that, then you're going to come back and you're going to create your 2025 plan. So you've laid the groundwork, and now it's time for the fun part. And that's figuring out what's next. What do you want to create? So get ready, fire that up, fire that imagination up, fire that higher vibration up, tap into your heart, because this section is where you get to create the plan for next year of your singing, of your technique, of the opportunities you want, of your singing goals, your singing career. You know what to do. Continue on with your journal and follow the prompts that are in this section. So section 4, what's next? What's my future? What do you want to create? What do you want to experience, achieve over the next year in terms of your vocal technique, performances, your creativity and artistry, the career opportunities and outcomes that you want, your recordings, if you're a recording artist and that applies to you, your auditions, if you are a Broadway performer, an opera singer, if that applies to you. Think about how you want to feel in these endeavors on a more consistent basis. Do you want to experience more freedom, more trust, more consistency, more confidence, more joy? How else do you want to feel when you sing? Write it down. Okay, the goal here is to be as specific and as concrete as possible. How do you want to feel when you sing? What do you want to experience? You guys, the emotional state that we are in creates and completely is responsible for the actions that we take. And it is a decision. You guys get to choose your emotional home around anything. So if you want to experience more freedom, more joy, okay. Then when you're doing that, what are the actions that fuel me so that the actions that I take are born out of confidence, freedom, trust? What help do I need in order to experience that? Like daily practices, rituals, can I incorporate to be able to stack on that and condition that more? So don't underestimate what you can achieve when you are as specific and concrete as possible with how you want to experience things and how you want to feel, to envision the best possible year for your singing, and really let yourself dream. Don't underestimate this, guys, okay? So now we're going to move into the next section, which is your top 3 most important targets for next year. So once you're done, you're going to go back over your list that you just wrote about how you want to experience and what you want to create or achieve in all of those endeavors up in section 4, your technique, your performances, artistry, recordings, career opportunities, all of those things. So you're going to go back and you're going to look at that and you're going to answer these next questions. What are the 3 most important targets that you want to focus on over the next 12 months? And circle them. And then you're going to write why each of these goals is important to you. Because without that why, it's really hard to go beyond your comfort zone, to weather the inevitable ups and downs. So why are each of these goals important to you? Do not skip that step. And then who do you need to become in order to bring each of these skills to life? Because you guys, it is in the beingness. Who are you being? Not what are you doing? Who are you being dictates what you do, right? So who do you get to become? What character traits, habits, or skills do you need to develop to accomplish these goals? So who you get to become is traits like brave, committed, accountable, resourceful, joyful, right? And then what habits, what skills do you need to develop to accomplish the goals that you have? So if the goal, let's say, is to get cast in a lead role in a paid production, right? So you're going to look at that. Why is that important to you? Who do you need to become? What traits, character traits, habits, skills you need to develop to accomplish that, right? Let's say that you get freaked out at auditions and you're not great at auditioning and you're way better in performance than auditions. How many of you relate? I'm so good in performance. If they could just see me in the show, they'd cast me. Why do I have to audition? Right? Because you get nervous and you shut down during auditions because you feel like you're being judged. And so your auditions are never as good. Super common experience for auditioning singers. Okay. So what skills, habits, traits, right, to be a better auditioner? Well, I might need to brush up on the consistency of my technique. I might need some support to work on my mindset. I might need to do some kind of like audition boot camp or something, right? Like you decide, right? And then what action steps can you take to support yourself in developing those new habits and traits? Action steps. Well, maybe I need a different kind of vocal training. Maybe I need to get out there and actually do many, many more auditions. So I'm just going to audition for everything that I see. Even if I would never say yes to it, I'm going to go and do that audition for Time in the Saddle, right? Because if you're only doing one audition every 3 months, well, that doesn't help you condition new traits, right? So what are those action steps? And then what action steps do you need to get help building the skills that you need? So doing this exercise, guys, at the end of each year, it really helps you to get clarity and break down the dreams and the targets that you have all at once. And I always say, if you want a different result, then you've got to be willing to do things differently. So allow this year in review exercise to show you what's been working, what's not, so you have the clarity on what areas need attention and you have a different strategy to move forward with. Because a year might seem like a really long time, guys, but it can go by lickety split. And I mean, I certainly feel that way about 2024. I literally can't believe that we're at the end of this year. It goes by in a heartbeat. And so if doing this exercise brings up some tough emotions because you don't really feel any closer to your big targets, your big dreams than you did in 2023 at the end of this 2024 year, bring some compassion to yourself. This is where the compassion piece is so important. If you don't feel any closer to those goals and dreams, that is why you're doing this. So see this exercise as the opportunity that it is to get to do 2025 differently, with intention this time, with wisdom this time. And now the last piece of this is about what the future you wants you to know. What does my future self want me to know? So you've got the targets, you've got the tactical targets, you've got the goals, the dreams, you've got everything written down. And now you're going to do one final exercise that's very imaginative to help you tap into your heart and into your wisdom. And so I want you to imagine yourself 10 years down the line, 10 years into the future. And I want you to start writing a letter to current day you from the perspective of 10 years into the future you. So we can start something like, Dear Arden, I would love for you to understand that, or I would love for you to know that. And then write whatever comes to mind. Don't judge it. Don't edit it. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about punctuation. Trust me, you've got so much knowing and awareness and wisdom inside you. Just let it come out. And if you get stuck, I have some prompts in there that you can experiment with. I would love for you to start doing or being or trying or whatever. Or I'd love for you to remember blah, blah, blah. Or I'd love for you to focus on. Remember, this is visualizing where you want to be 10 years from now. All that juicy goodness. And what is it that future you wants to tell you now about? I would love for you to focus on so that you can. I'd love for you to remember. And I know this might sound a little woo-woo and a little whatever, but it's really powerful stuff, guys. It really is. It helps you to access those really important truths, those really important awarenesses, connections to your awareness that you know intuitively, but that we don't always pay attention to because we're just so in the clatter of our lives, right? And so you'll be really glad that you connected to that awareness and articulated it now before the next year passes, the next 5 years, God forbid, the next decade passes. So when you've completed all 3 of the parts of this series, and you can do it all at once, you can sit down and do it all at once, or you can do each part separately, but don't skip any of it, because it's all three parts are super essential. When you do it and you complete it, then you're going to have a really valuable map, like GPS map of personal wisdom that's going to help you make the next year of your singing so much more productive, so much more joyful, so much more meaningful, and so much more successful. Because your time matters, guys. Your time matters. And by doing this work and reflecting in this way, you've set yourself up to have the best year ever, to keep going, to honor that wisdom that's within you. And it's what's going to guide you into not only your best singing, but into much bigger results than you've gotten before. So you have the PDF that I put in the chat of the year in review that walks you through everything I just did. Like I said, take some me time over the next few days to do it. Grab your favorite cozy wintertime beverage. I'm very partial to apple cider this time of year. So grab a beverage that you love. Be compassionate. Examine what you've accomplished, what you want moving into 2025. And on a personal note, as you do this exercise, it's super powerful. If you're realizing that you have been accepting too many excuses over the last year, that you've been engaging with too many limiting beliefs, buying into too many fears, and you can see how all of this has prevented you from really blooming into your talent and your singing career at the level you want, it's not too late to shift. Get that. It is not too late. If after looking at your patterns from the last year, you realize that your way is not working, and that after so many years, hopefully years, not even decades, but for some of you, it might even be decades, after so much time of doing it the only way that you know how, if you're still not at the level that you want to be and you're ready for a proven system that will give you new set of tools, a new foundation to build success upon, then I want to invite you to book a call with me. And a reminder, this is not a call for newbie singers, right? If you've never devoted any time or money or attention to vocal training, do that first. Get some training first, because that's going to really help you to feel a lot better about so much of what you're doing in terms of your confidence and your ability. But if you have had a ton of training and you're out there recording, auditioning, putting yourself out there, and you still got 25 day jobs and you're still in that time suck of like, how do I manage? Because I want to be spending my time doing my singing and my music, but I have this job over here because I'm not making money at my singing because I'm not breaking through. Like, if this is you and you've been struggling with the same ceiling for years that you can't break through into your professional career, or if you've been struggling with the same technique issues for years, tension, strain, vocal fatigue, right? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for another year to go by of birthdays celebrated with that hesitation that another year has passed and you're still at that side job instead of singing for a living? Like that major self-doubt of like releasing another EP to the lackluster results, hardly any spins, hardly any plays that happened the last time. And that sinking feeling that you're not good enough. Those nerves, right? If you have crippling nerves that sabotage your auditions or your performances, preventing you from singing in the way that you know you can. Or the dread, this one used to get me, the dread of like being at a Thanksgiving dinner or a dinner party with your friends and being asked by family or those close to you, your friends, hey, how's the music going? And that immediate feeling of failure when you don't have hardly anything to say. And watching other singers who are just as talented as you get the gigs that you want instead of you, and the frustration of having no idea why it's them and not you, and wondering if it will ever be your turn as you watch another year go by, as you watch the clock continue to tick. You want another New Year's resolution where you're like, this year will be different and I'll finally make things happen. Guys, I've got news for you. And I say this because I care, not to be harsh, but nothing will be different until you are and until you decide to do things differently. So what are you waiting for? Another year of thinking about it? Another year to pass while you're trying to figure it out? You guys, you've been doing that. If you're resonating, you've been doing that. And if you're not getting the results that you want and you're singing, then it's time to empty your cup and fill it up with a new strategy, with a new skill set, with a new mindset. Life is way too short to waste any more time. Look how fast this last year went. So reach out, book a call with me. We'll get on the phone for like 45 minutes and we're going to talk about what's working and what's not working. We're going to get clarity on what you want and where you want to go and what has been preventing you from getting there. And if I think I can help you, then we'll talk about it. I will 100% let you know, and I'll let you know what that looks like. And if not, then I'll steer you to something else that I think will help. But don't waste another year, or God forbid, another decade. Book a call with me. Let's get you moving into 2025 with a strategy and the support that works. So after I hop off here, I'm going to put the link in the chat to book a call, which you can grab. And in the meantime, do the year in review. It's going to give you a lot of clarity on where you are and where you want to go. And if you're one of those singers who was relating to what I was saying and you want our help to bridge that gap from where you are to where you want to go, then reach out to me. All right, everybody, have a fantastic New Year's. Have a fantastic Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I hope that this is a time of year full of joy and family and music. I mean, this is like the time of year with the most beautiful, beautiful music. So I hope you get to enjoy it. I hope you get to sing it. And we still have content coming out throughout the rest of the year, but this is the last time I will be live. So sending so much love, so much hugs. You guys are the reason that I do what I do. And so I hope that you are getting some much needed support and tools out of this, and that you don't just listen and then do nothing about it, but that you listen and you take action, like doing your year in review. Okay, everybody, it's been awesome. I will see you guys in 2025. Bye.